Hey guys, it's Brian with Retired at 40. Today we're headed to Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's our first time we've ever been there, and it's just a short 6-hour drive from Denver. We've heard lots of good things, lots of culture, there's lots of history there, and lots of good food we hear. Well, we made it to Santa Fe. Our first impression is a good one. There's artistic touches everywhere, even on the bridges and the interstates. And right now we're going to head up to our house that we rented for the next 3 nights. Well, I've been in Santa Fe for all of 20 minutes and its charm has already got its grip on me. There's so much artistic quality around the city. There's so much cool architecture. There's lots of Native American and Southwest touches just everywhere you go. It doesn't matter whether it's an insurance building or a bank or someone's house downtown. Everything blends in very nice with the landscape. I really kind of have a crush on this place already. I'm gonna go enjoy the sunset and I'll catch you tomorrow. All right, it's day 2 and we're headed to the farmer's market. If you're here on a Saturday, they have a farmer's market every Saturday. And it's indoor, so it'll happen rain or shine. Bring some cash and get ready to do some shopping. Also, a lot of Santa Fe is very dog friendly, so if you have your dog, bring them with. Ready to go to Santa Fe, Murph? You ready to go? Except for inside the farmer's market. So the farmer's market is 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday. They have vendors from all over New Mexico, all kinds of homemade breads, and fruits and vegetables that are homegrown. There's mushrooms, cheeses, pastries, anything you can imagine. So the farmer's market was really cool. There was lots of fresh produce. We got some fresh mushrooms. There's fresh greens. There's beans, potatoes, chilies, of course, you'd expect in New Mexico, and really just a whole plethora of stuff. Lots of friendly people and vendors. There was live music, and then we headed outside to the railway. So just outside of the farmer's market is the Railyard District, and it's full of high-end art shops. And of course the Railrunner Express, which is a passenger train that will run all the way through town, and then beyond that, I believe. One thing I'm really regretting, and one thing that I'd highly recommend, is if you like to bike, a bike would be a great way to see this town. And we didn't bring our bikes with us, unfortunately, but next time we definitely will. So next we're going to head to Kakawa, which is a coffee and chocolate shop, and they offer all kinds of different chocolates, and you can get a flight of different chocolates. You can add it to coffee. You can get ice cream. They have chocolate treats, and it looks really delicious. So this isn't like your average chocolate shop. There's so many different kinds of flavors of chocolate. There's spicy chocolate, there's plain chocolate with no sweetener, there's the sweetest chocolate that you've ever tasted. And then you can add any of these flavors into coffee. You can incorporate any of these flavors into their treats they have. And then they have chocolates you can take and make at home. Alright, we're fully caffeinated now, and now we're going to head to the oldest house in the United States, which is no surprise because Santa Fe is actually the oldest city capital in the United States. So this is a free, just real quick, self-guided tour. It just shows the oldest structure in the United States. There's just the simple way that they used to live back then. There's some tools and some fireplaces, some utensils. There's a coffin in there with a headless guy. And something worth checking out real quick so you can head on to the next thing that we're heading on to. Right next door to the oldest house in the United States is the oldest church structure in the United States. The San Miguel Church, built in 1610. This is also a free self-guided tour, and something you don't want to miss if you're in Santa Fe. Many of the original elements of this church are still intact, and you can walk freely about the church and look at these elements, things that are several hundred years old. Some of the original structure and artifacts are below the glass in the floor. So we came back to the house for lunch and we ordered pizza, just real quick delivery from a place called Upper Crust Pizza. They incorporated a lot of southwestern type foods into the pizza. We kind of wanted to come back just a little bit before lunchtime to kind of regroup because the downtown area, the restaurants do get pretty crowded during meal times, and we wanted to kind of eat a little bit earlier so we could head back into Santa Fe while everyone else was eating lunch and hit some of those hot spots. I also wanted to mention, just pay attention to your parking, because the parking is a little bit tight downtown. The downtown is very old, and it was obviously built a long time ago, so streets are narrow, there's not a lot of parking, and we're here on the off season. I would imagine during the summer it's probably pretty congested down there, so just keep that in mind. So while everyone else was taking their lunch, we decided to hit some of the hot spots. Our next stop being the Cathedral Basilica, another free spot to go to and one that you don't want to miss. During our time here, the cathedral was having some renovations done, but it almost made you realize how elaborate the ceilings and the vaults and the paintings in this church are. And this church, just like the others, has many of the original items intact, paintings, sculptures, and construction that were original to the church. Our next stop was the Loretto Chapel, home of the miraculous staircase. The chapel is only about a block away from the cathedral, so it's a short walk to the next stop. The chapel was impressive, however it did cost us about $15 for a family of 4 to get in, and after going to the cathedral first, this just didn't size up. If you want to save $15, here's a shot of the staircase. If you don't, close your eyes. Well, it's day 3. Happy puppy, happy owner. I just wanted to give you a quick shot of the surrounding area of Santa Fe, and you can see all the possibilities of biking and hiking and skiing. So last night we went to Tomasita's, which is an authentic southwestern restaurant. You have to try their red and their green chili. It doesn't get much more fresh and authentic. Even at 4 o'clock it was pretty busy, and they don't take reservations, so definitely plan some time ahead for that. So we saved the best for last. We're headed to Meow this morning, and I would definitely make reservations for that. It does fill up very quickly, even in the off season. So our weather has been absolutely amazing for this time of year. It's early March right now, and we've had 50s and 60s, and you can see it's sunny out. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning right now. Yesterday, really, we just tried to soak in as much of the culture and the town as possible, and I can pretty comfortably say that you could spend way longer here than we have spent. We haven't even touched hiking or biking, or there's skiing close by. There's so much to do around here. If you like to shop, there's shopping absolutely everywhere. There's vendors everywhere. The architecture is pretty spectacular as well. We hit up several churches yesterday, and there's churches kind of scattered throughout town. There's actually 2 that say that they're the oldest church in the US. I'm not sure which one actually is the oldest, and it's pretty incredible that you can go through something that's 400 years old, that was built 400 years ago, and you can still actually walk through, you can experience the whole thing, and the original pieces are still intact in there. So we're gonna head off to Meow, and I think it's gonna knock our socks off. From the exterior, Meow appears to be a refurbished grocery store, but scattered in the parking lot are clues to the amazing things inside. It's considered to be an art installation, but the whole thing is a contribution of 100 to thousands of artists to make one incredible experience for the user. Crazy, huh? Even if art doesn't interest you, there's something for everyone at Meow. My kids enjoyed it as much as I did. The story starts out in a suburban, average, normal-looking house, but before you know it, you're transported into another universe. Meow is supposed to be an interpretive art installation, so they don't really give you much of a backstory, but you're trying to solve the mystery of the family in the house, all while taking in the art installations. While traveling through what seems to be endless amount of rooms, you're transported into other universes, dreams, fairy tales, and then just as you think you've seen it all, you'll go through another hatch or a portal through the house or circle back to the house. It's really just an endless maze with clues, mind-bending art, and something that's pretty impossible to describe or catch on video. Each of the rooms is chock full of clues and entrances to the alternate universe. Oh, wow. The coolest thing about Meow is there is no right or wrong way to go through the whole thing. And the whole thing is something like 30-something thousand square feet. so plan to spend 3 or 4 hours in the entire exhibit. They only allow a certain amount of people every hour to go through the whole thing, so it really gives you the chance to spend as much or as little time in each room as you want. There's not much that's off limits, almost everything is hands-on or interactive, and they even have live actors throughout. In the one and only large and open room, they actually use it as a venue and they host bands and DJs and events. What I'm showing you here barely even scratches the surface of what Meow Wolf has to offer. And many of the things pictured are just the lighted parts of the exhibit. There is just room after room of endless fun. Meow Wolf is mind-bending, scary, spooky, confusing, and completely addicting all at the same time. I could see myself going to this multiple times because you would see something new every time you went there. One thing that we found out late in the game was someone gave us some 3D glasses that can be purchased up front, and it completely changes the experience of the entire installation. Once we had those, things that were already incredible started popping out of the walls. You can look at the floor, you can look at the ceiling, and things that you looked at without the glasses completely change once you put them on. Well, Meow Wolf was everything that we expected it to be. We've heard so much stuff about it. I thought it might just be kind of a tourist trap, but it's really pretty amazing. It's physically exhausting and mentally exhausting, and just as kind of a preface, because they don't really give you that information when you get there, you're kind of trying to solve the mystery at the same time as enjoying the art installation. You'll also definitely want to make a reservation ahead of time, because even though we had a reservation, there was people lined up, clear back to the parking lot.
I touched that.
And we were there half an hour early. So allow yourself some time to get parked, and definitely make a reservation ahead of time and buy those 3D glasses. So our last stop, sadly, is some fine dining. It's La Casa Cena, and it's fine dining with a twist. The wait staff actually plays the piano and sings, or there's a piano player, a guitar player, and the waiter or waitress will sing. They sing anything from the Beatles to show tunes to, it really changes every night. So that starts at 6:30, and it's actually that cantina part. I believe there's 2 separate parts of the restaurant. One where you can just dine, and then one you can go into the cantina. It will require reservations. The cantina is not real big. There's a limited amount of seating and tables in there. And I'm actually going to close out the video with some footage from that. In the meantime, this is Retired at 40. Remember to live life simple, and I'll catch you next week.